Last month, a businessman was in Miami. He was saving a little money, staying in an Airbnb, and he was standing there, brushing his teeth in the bathroom. Then he looked up and he saw a smoke detector mounted on the ceiling of the bathroom. Not only is the fact that there is a smoke detector in a bathroom of all places, but what was the most concerning was that small flashing red light and two small pinholes in that smoke detector that he saw. In those seemingly benign tiny pinholes was actually a hidden camera staring right back at him. Sounds like something right out of a bad movie, doesn't it? Well, by the time the cops arrived, that live feed already had over 500 viewers. And get this, one of them was in the living room of the Airbnb owner's house across the street. If you think that's creepy, a real invasion of privacy, just imagine thousands of these sneaky gadgets are shipping straight to Airbnb hosts all over the world for under 40 bucks. It's a wild world out there, folks, and your personal space isn't always as private as you think it is. Let's be real. The thought of someone watching you without your knowledge is deeply unsettling, to be sure. But here's the kicker. Spy cams, some no bigger than a shirt button, are selling like hotcakes on everyday retail sites for as little as $25 to $40. And these aren't the old, clunky, low-resolution devices either. They record in crisp 4K and can run for hours, sometimes days, on tiny rechargeable batteries. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. The really terrifying part, because they're often marketed innocently as nanny cams or home security devices, there's absolutely no background check required for purchase, so anyone can buy them, no questions asked. This lack of regulation, combined with their affordability and discreet design, has created a real problem. Guests are finding these hidden cameras at an alarming rate. Some statistics have seen estimates that roughly one hidden camera is found every 3 days somewhere in the United States alone. And honestly, most of these incidents probably go unreported because travelers just want a quick refund and a long hot shower to wash away the creep factor. It is a disturbing trend that highlights a massive gap in privacy protection, especially in places where we would expect to be able to be safe. One of the most classic hiding spots for hidden cameras is that generic black box sitting innocently beside the bed in the hotel or the Airbnb or another rental. You know, the alarm clock. These things are practically factory made to sit at bed height, giving them a perfect vantage point, and they never ever draw a second glance. Most people just assume it's, well, an alarm clock. But here's the trick. Do a complete scan of that alarm clock. Give it a good look on all sides. You're looking for several things here. One thing to watch out for is a micro SD card slot. Many hidden camera alarm clocks will have that small slot to put an SD card in it for local storage. Now, if it's transmitting the feed live, which most are, there may not be an SD card in it, but there will be a slot to place an SD card in it. Secondly, look for a battery compartment door. Even if it plugs into the wall, many have a battery compartment where you can use AA or AAA batteries to power the clock. But most normal alarm clocks would not have this. They might have a small watch battery installed to hold memory in the event of a power failure, but they won't use regular AA or AAA batteries. A good way to test this might be to unplug the alarm clock from the wall. Does the time remain on the screen? Well, if so, there is something else powering that alarm clock. You might also grab your cell phone, turn on the flashlight, and shine it straight into the front of the alarm clock. Many times, if there is a hidden camera, you will see it as it will have a silver or a bluish tint to it. If the light just reflects back to you off the face of the clock and you see no small shiny circles, it is probably safe to say there is no camera in it. Now, one thing I do, regardless of whether I'm staying at a hotel, an Airbnb, or wherever while I'm traveling, is simply unplugging the alarm clock and placing it in a drawer or a closet face down just to be safe. Another thing to consider is USB charging ports. Who doesn't travel with a USB charger these days? They're everywhere, and that's precisely what makes them such perfect targets. They are camouflaged, if you will. They look normal in just about any room. But these innocent-looking devices can be sold with a hidden camera built right inside of them. They blend seamlessly into the wall outlet, making them virtually invisible to the untrained eye. So what do you watch out for? Well, most standard USB chargers don't need a pinhole anywhere on their casing. If you spot a small, tiny, dark dot, a little hole on the front face, that's your first clue that there could be a hidden camera or a hidden audio recorder inside. You should also do the same cell phone flashlight inspection of the device that you did with the alarm clock. Again, if there is a camera inside, you will see a tiny silverish circle of the lens inside it. I also always take any USB chargers as well as USB cables lying around for my convenience and place them all into a drawer. Even if there isn't a hidden camera or audio recorder in them, they could be engineered to grab data off of my cell phone, tablet, or other devices. I always only use and only trust the USB chargers and cables that I bring with me. Now, we talked about the smoke detectors a little bit at the beginning, but let's discuss them in more detail. Take a good look around and take inventory of any and all smoke detectors as well as carbon monoxide detectors. Smoke detectors are usually located in hallways. Some newer builds may have them in sleeping areas too, but they are usually placed near the door and high up on a wall or up on the ceiling. And they are, by design, made to be inconspicuous, so we rarely give them a second thought beyond hoping that they work in the event of an emergency. You can test these in multiple ways, but there are some precautions you must take first. If it is hardwired into the electrical of the structure, chances are it is not a hidden camera. Most hotels will have hardwired smoke detectors, but most Airbnbs will have regular ones that run off batteries. You can usually open these up by gently twisting the cover. If it has a hidden camera inside, well, it's going to look a little odd. It may have a place for batteries, SD cards, and a little wire antenna. Another thing to watch for with these is different styles of smoke detectors in the same structure. Most people will buy the same brand and style to keep things looking the same. But many times there could be one that just stands out from the rest. It looks different. It has no brand markings on it. It is located in an odd place or maybe even next to another smoke detector. Now be careful here. Carbon monoxide detectors look a lot like smoke detectors, and you could have a carbon monoxide detector and a smoke detector placed next to each other. A good test, again, is to use your trusty cell phone flashlight to look for those shiny lenses looking back at you. But there's a big thing to be careful about when using this method. I have seen many legitimate smoke detectors that have reset buttons or other pieces of electronics inside that will reflect back that silvery shine that appears to be a hidden camera. And this can be true for many electronic devices, so keep that in mind when using the flashlight hidden camera lens detection method. Picture frames are another concern many people have when it comes to hidden cameras invading their privacy. But there is a little known fact when it comes to these items we will discuss here in a moment. Much like any other item of interest, be it a clock, a USB charger, a smoke detector, or the picture frame, just do a careful visual inspection looking for anything odd, small holes, USB ports, SD ports, things like that. Remember, all cameras need power of some kind to run regardless of what they're hidden inside of. And it would be rather obvious if a picture frame has a USB port, a power cable, or a battery compartment. But here is the biggest secret of all regarding hidden cameras inside picture frames. I have been doing TSEM bug sweeps for nearly 2 decades now, and we have never ever found a hidden camera inside a picture frame. But that is not the biggest secret about it. The biggest secret here is that we get clients that call us all of the time and they think they may have a hidden camera inside a picture frame. And when I discuss this in detail with the client, I find out that the biggest reasons for this is that they saw on the internet that picture frames are a common place to find hidden cameras. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, a picture frame could be used to conceal a hidden camera, but the likelihood is much smaller as it would take more sophisticated design than using other common household items. Air vents are another common and often overlooked hiding spot for hidden cameras because they're full of tiny holes in screws, perfect for blending in. Again, you can use your cell phone camera and light to look inside those vents to see if anything is hidden inside the vents. If there's a hidden camera, it will be very obvious sitting there. You have to remember, in order for the camera to see you, well, you must be able to see the camera. So it won't be several feet back in the vent, as it most likely would not be able to see anything from there. Another closely related thing that worries a lot of people are those tiny screw heads on the vents. Can these be hidden cameras? Well, yes, but again, there are huge design complications that would need to be overcome in order to put a camera inside the head of a screw. Size is the first thing. It would be very small, and it would be very difficult to get power to that tiny camera too. As well, that one screw would look completely different than any other screws on the vent cover. So take a close look at them and use your trusty cell phone flashlight to inspect them. If one is different, but you don't see the camera lens, then most likely it was just replaced because an original screw was lost when someone was cleaning out the ducts. Now let's take a look at the TVs. Most modern flat screen TVs are sleek, they're unobtrusive, and come packed with all sorts of sensors, lights, and switches. On the bottom of most TVs, there's a sensor strip, and there's a strip with the different buttons, the power button and the channel buttons and things like that in case your remote doesn't work. Someone could place a second identical looking strip on the TV and no one would be the wiser. Again, do a complete physical inspection looking for anything out of the ordinary. The regular button strips for the TV will usually be molded into the TV shell, while an add-on will often be attached with double-sided tape or Velcro. And remember, you have to be able to see it in order for it to record you. So if it is on the backside facing a wall, chances are it is not a threat and is just a part of the TV. Another one that I hear so many clients worry about are two-way mirrors. And again, I usually hear that they read on the internet that this is a very likely way to hide a hidden camera or for people to spy on you from the other side of the wall. And yes, this is a possibility. And yes, we do look for things like this when we do a bug sweep, but the likelihood is slim to none in most cases. Now, you can check these just like any other device by doing a complete physical inspection of the mirror. Now, if the mirror is on, let's say, a closet door or an inside wall, well, there's no threat of someone watching from the other side, is there? If it is on a wall that is on the other side of another hotel room, you can do these two tests to see if it is a two-way mirror. Place your fingertip on the mirror. If you see a gap between your fingernail and the reflected fingernail, it is most likely a perfectly safe mirror. Now, there are some cheap mirrors often found in hotels and Airbnbs and other places that use inferior material, not real glass, that will make the fingernail appear to touch itself in the reflection. What you need to do then is to take your trusty cell phone flashlight, place it right up on the mirror, and see if you can see anything on the other side. Okay, you've done the sweep, you've checked everything out, and your gut still tells you there's something wrong. Or worse, you found a camera. What do? First, and this is super important, do not remove wires, do not tamper with suspicious items, and do not remove them from the premises. Take several photos of the suspicious objects. Take a photo from further away so it shows where it was in the room. Take one a little closer and then take a close-up too. And take photos from angles to the left and to the right and from the top and from the bottom if possible. Once you've got your evidence, your next step is to call the front desk of the hotel and ask to speak with security, or you can call the police. And if it's an Airbnb or some other rental service like that, make sure you notify them too. But there's a kicker here that most people do not know. Not too long ago, prior to early 2024, many of these host companies allowed clients to have cameras inside their rental properties if it were disclosed to the customer. Now, on April 30th, 2024, a global ban was placed on having any type of camera or recording device inside of these rentals, even if they were not running. But they can have cameras outside of the rental. And given the wide angle and the resolution of these types of security cameras, well, who knows what they see on the inside from the outside. So you want to make sure all of the window coverings are closed, especially in those most private spaces like bathrooms and bedrooms. My biggest advice to anyone, though, if you truly believe that you are being monitored, is not to try to do a bug sweep themselves. Rather, hire a professional TSCM company to do the sweep. I know, it gets expensive, but the do-it-yourself methods will often lead down a road of breadcrumbs that were sprinkled by paranoia, not by actual threats. And those paranoia breadcrumbs will often lead people to not see actual threats, or worse, continue thinking they are being monitored even when they are not.